Hey everybody, this is Heath from Heath Model Works. Been a long time since I posted anything, so this one ought to be a good one. I'm gonna do a little video of my new 4-link rear suspension for the 1/12 scale Camaro, the reissue from Revell. I believe this was once a monogram kit, but I did a complete 4-link with the rear axle. It's a 4 to 9 inch rear axle, which is pretty popular swap because it's a real strong rear end, highly respected by the racing community. The big brake kit is also on this one, just to show the full deal with what you can do. And these are my wheels and tires that I also sell for the same kit. I do have adapters that come with the axle to allow you to use the kit's stock wheels and tires if you guys want the original look. I kind of like for a 4-link, obviously you're into performance, you're into handling, so I'm sticking with these. But it's modeled true to another company's 4-link. I guess I'm not going to name it because I don't want to get anybody, including myself, in trouble. But it's got the upper and lower links with the heim joint ends on it. These shocks are coilovers, and those are actually 3D printed springs that I'm going to have a video on how to dress them up and remove them from the... I ship them with small, I don't want to call them supports, but little bracing in between them because they're pretty fragile before you get them assembled. But shock is actually made out of 3 parts. It's got a coilover spring, the main body, and then the retainer, so you can drop the spring on and then slip the retainer over to trap it. And then you can see the frame, the main frame for the 4-link here. It's a tubular style frame. It's, I'm sure it's TIG welded when they make them for real. And then the upper joints here, they're made to look like anodized aluminum with the heim joint ends. And if you haven't already picked up on it, these are all separate parts. And I started out with rivets, little tiny rivets, but they just did not work out. They were too short and they were very hard to trim. So every kit I sell, I'm going to ship with nickel-plated brass needles, or pins that they have a nice, easy to install because they have that pin end, so you can slip it through and then clip them, and then put a little cyanoacrylate to get it into position. Every kit has 3 different length coilover shocks, so that if you want to go with the factory stance, which is, even though it doesn't really look it with these big wheels on it, this is actually where the kit's wheels would be. I also have one short one that allows you to really slam it, and then a long one that would be more for like if you were trying to put some drag slicks on it. And I'm sure people will figure out ways to modify it even further by lengthening it or repositioning this in here to get it to have the stance they want. But if you just take it right out of the kit and put the mid-length shocks on, this is what you're going to get. So I'm going to take a break and we'll put the kit contents and how it will come to you. Okay, so what comes in the kit? This is what you're going to get if you buy one of these from me. That box of goodies. First thing is pins I talked about. These are nickel-plated brass pins. I include a couple extra in the bag just in case something goes wrong, you get one cut, it's the wrong length, or you drop one and you can't find it. There's a couple extra in there. I'll go over that one after we look at the big parts. I guess we can go over these first. These are the springs that are going to come with the kit. I include one extra just in case something goes south. I'm going to have a little video on how to remove the little braces that you see in there. There is definitely a technique to make it nice and easy. But if you don't follow it, it's pretty easy to snap one. So again, that's why there's an extra in there. The main parts, however, are packaged separately in these little bags because they are pretty fragile. These are modeled, try to model them close to scale as I could, so that means some pretty thin wall sections on these, the mounts. Anyway, this is the main frame for the 4-link. It's got a little hole that I pre-drill with a 0.7 drill. I actually pre-drill every hole on every mount of these kits to ensure the needles or the pins are going to slide through without any issue. I highly recommend that you buy a 0.7 millimeter drill bit after you paint them and remount the holes. I broke a couple of these myself before I had the drill bits. I tried to use the needle to push it through and I ended up breaking a couple of these. So they're fragile. You gotta be careful. Definitely pre-drill them after you paint. I'm gonna sell these as a separate item, 0.7 carbide bits. For anybody that buys it, doesn't have one, and you don't want to end up buying, you can buy an assortment of drill bits, probably get for around $7 or $8. Or you can buy a whole strip of them like I did here. I think these are like $11 if you buy them plus shipping. So I haven't decided yet. I'll probably sell them for like $3 or $4 a piece. They're like I said, carbide. You only need one unless you're going to be doing lots of them. Anyway, that's the drill bits. Next big piece here is the axle. This is a Ford 9-inch. I really tried to get the details on this thing just right. Upper links mounts, lower link mounts, coilover mounts. These are fully detailed. All the bolt heads are hexagons, and even where the pins go through, there's a hexagon shape on there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. You can zoom in on them and see them. You can see them, and you can see how thin that section actually is. So I really do ship these with the bubble bags for a purpose. And then I got the cover detail on there with the diff gear bump, all the welds, where they weld these together. I have fillets in there, so they really do detail up like the real thing. So those are the two main components. And then you got another little box of the small parts. This is the diff carrier for the Ford 9-inch. I really did try to get the details on this too. I must have downloaded a dozen pictures of 4 9-inch diff carriers before I was satisfied with how this came out. It's got the little stamp metal oil, I think it's a deflector for the grease, but if anybody really knows what it is, let me know in the comments. The bolts are all on there, and the hex nuts and the studs for the mounting this onto the main axle are here too. So there's no like alignment pins or anything to put it together. So not for the beginner modeler, because you're going to need to line this up just right to get it on there. Make sure you got it on the right way. I have a full detail instructions that will be available for download with 3D isometrics showing how the parts go together. So spend a little time reading that. Shouldn't be any trouble to get this to go together correctly. These are the backers, the plates to mount the stock kits, wheels, and tires. If you so desire, you can do that. They are same exact size as what comes in the kit, and you can see the support features are on the side that you can't see. This faces in, so the wheel completely covers this, and a few little support nibs in there. You're gonna have to razor blade out, and but the side that's visible is free of any supports. So those are for the kit, stock kit stuff. If you're using my big brake kit, which is available separately, or as a combo. I'm actually going to sell this kit in just this kit itself, or you can buy it with the big brake kit, or you can buy it with the big brake kit and my wheels and tires. And they'll, obviously save a few bucks if you do it that way. Anyway, these are the backers that allow you to make the big brake kits. Willwood calipers, that's the mounting for it. And it's the same thing. It's got the little flange, little hex nuts, cap screws, just like the real ones would have. So you can really detail these out too. These are the lower links. Again, I leave a few of the support pieces in there just because I don't, if I spend all my time taking supports off, I'm not designing new stuff. So these will all come out very easily with a small razor blade, X-Acto knife. Same here. These little supports are needed to get the hex nuts edges nice and crisp. So I put a support on each one. Again, real easy, sharp X-Acto knife. Bang, 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 bang. They come right out, and you end up with a really nice, really convincing looking joint there. You can see I actually used the chrome on the diameter of the shaft, and then this is a matte aluminum, so there's, even though they're both gray, there's a different sheen on them. Okay, before we get to the shocks, I'll put the upper links. The upper links are similar, hex nut detail on there, the little Heim joints. This little white fuzz is from where I pre-drill. I actually drill every one of these holes to make sure that those pins are going to work out. And again, you're going to want a drill, because after you paint it, you're going to need to clean these up. These are anodized aluminum in real life with I think even the ends are an aluminum alloy with a steel center section. So these are the upper links. The shocks come in 3 different lengths. I don't know if I'll be able to grab all 3 here, but I'll try. They are fully featured. They have thread, the compression spring backer, and the dampening adjustment screws, which if you get really close there, you can see there's actually a knurl even on that. And then the Heim joint on the end, and the opposite end Heim joint. How you can tell which length shock you're looking at is by the very end. There's little dimples. I put 1 dimple, 2 dimple, or no dimples. This is a no dimple, so this is the shortest shock that comes in the kit. That is a single dimple, and you can see it. It's just like a little hole, blind hole that I started. So that is a mid-length shock. And maybe I just happened to grab one of each length there. So that's got 2 on it. And that is the long one. They're identical, just the shaft's a little longer. So again, it sets the ride height up for the car. These shocks have 3 different lengths, but they also have a left and a right. So if you're holding them the same orientation, you can see the one end is lined up, the other end are the inverse of one another. That's because of the left and right side, and it's just how the geometry of the 4-link worked out. I thought about cheating there and trying to make them all the same, but I would have had to mess with the mount to the axle or the mount to the frame, and I did actually model it, try to make it work, but it just didn't look right. This makes it look just like the real thing. So, when you're going to pick these out once, you're going to have to find out which length you want, and then get the left and the right. And then you got 4 extras to practice your detailing on before you do the one for score. Then you got these little U-shaped keepers. These are kind of like the same things that come on an RC car. Nibs on there. So you drop the spring down on, and then this thing retains it, and it kind of is locked into place by the little feature here. There's a little counterboard section. Again, these aren't like real, they don't really operate, but it's more about how they look when they're on the model. So those are the parts that come in the kit. I'm going to go over a video. It's been a separate video on how to remove the braces out of the springs, so definitely watch that. And thank you for your interest in my product. If you have one of these in front of you and you're still you got some questions or something's not working the way it's supposed to, reach out. I stand behind my products and I will do everything I can to help you. Happy modeling, everybody. Take care.